You've spent your whole life caring for others. Now it's time to care for yourself. As we grow older, we often hear that we should be kind, patient, and forgiving. While kindness is important, we must also learn to protect our peace and well-being. Many people spend their entire lives trying to please others, always saying yes, and carrying the burdens of family and friends. But after 70, life should be about finding happiness, peace, and balance. Living a little colder doesn't mean being rude or unkind. It means being smart about where you invest your time, emotions, and energy. It means learning to step back from unnecessary drama, setting boundaries, and choosing yourself when necessary. Too often, elderly people feel drained because they give too much and receive little in return. The truth is, if you don't take care of yourself, no one else will. Let's explore 6 important lessons that can help you live a more peaceful and fulfilling life. One of the most valuable things you have in your later years is peace of mind. But too often, we allow ourselves to get caught up in family conflicts, other people's problems, and unnecessary worries. Emotional detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop allowing every little thing to disturb your inner peace. You can still love your family and friends while keeping a healthy emotional distance from their problems. Take Margaret, an 80-year-old woman who used to worry endlessly about her adult children. Whenever they had problems, financial struggles, relationship issues, or work stress, she took it upon herself to fix everything. She would spend sleepless nights worrying and trying to offer solutions. But one day she realized something important. Her worrying didn't change anything. Her children still made their own choices, and no matter how much she stressed, life unfolded as it always did. So she made a decision. She would be there to support them, but she would no longer allow their problems to ruin her peace. Once she started practicing emotional detachment, she felt lighter, slept better, and enjoyed life more. Not everything deserves a reaction. Not every problem is yours to solve. By learning to let go of what you can't control, you protect your peace and happiness. For most of our lives, we are taught that saying yes is a good thing. We say yes to favors, to family obligations, to social events, even when we don't want to. But after 70, your time and energy are too precious to waste on things that don't bring you joy. Every time you say yes to something you don't want to do, you are saying no to yourself. Consider John, a 75-year-old man who was always the person people relied on. His family expected him to babysit the grandchildren at a moment's notice. His friends assumed he would always be available for gatherings, even when he was tired. He rarely said no because he didn't want to disappoint anyone. But as he aged, he realized that constantly putting others before himself was making him miserable. He started saying no without guilt. At first, people were surprised, but soon they adjusted. And John, he felt a newfound sense of freedom. Saying no doesn't make you selfish, it makes you wise. It allows you to spend your time the way you truly want, whether that's resting, pursuing hobbies, or simply enjoying a quiet moment. Empathy is a wonderful quality. It allows us to connect with others, offer comfort, and show kindness. But as we grow older, we must learn to be careful about where we direct our empathy. If we give too much of our emotional energy to every sad story, every problem, and every complaint we hear, it can take a toll on our mental and emotional well-being. Think of empathy like a glass of water. If you keep pouring water into everyone else's glass, eventually your own glass will be empty. Some people will truly need and appreciate your kindness, while others may take advantage of it or use you as an emotional dumping ground. You don't have to listen to every complaint, solve every problem, or carry everyone's burdens on your shoulders. If someone constantly brings you stress, negativity, or drama, it's okay to step back and protect your peace. For example, imagine you have a friend who always calls you to complain about the same problems, never taking action to fix them. At first you listen patiently, offering advice and encouragement. But over time, you notice that these conversations leave you feeling drained and exhausted. If every time you speak with them, you feel worse instead of better, it might be time to limit those interactions. You can still care for them, but you don't have to sacrifice your own happiness in the process. Being selective with empathy means choosing who and what deserves your emotional energy. Not every problem is yours to fix, and not every person deserves unlimited access to your heart. It's not about being cold or unkind. It's about protecting your mental health so you can enjoy the life you've worked so hard to build. Time is the most valuable thing we have, especially in our later years. Every day is a gift, and how we spend it should bring us joy, peace, and fulfillment. Yet, many elderly people find themselves spending too much time on things they don't really want to do, out of guilt, habit, or obligation. But here's the truth. Your time is yours, and using it wisely is a form of self-respect. Think about how often people expect your time. Maybe family members assume you are always available to help. Friends expect you to listen to their problems for hours, or acquaintances drop by unannounced, disrupting your quiet moments. If you constantly allow others to take your time without considering your own needs, you may end up feeling exhausted and unfulfilled. Let's take Sarah, an 80-year-old woman who spent years attending every social event she was invited to, even when she didn't feel like going. She worried that saying no would make her seem rude or ungrateful. But over time, she realized that forcing herself to do things she didn't enjoy was stealing her happiness. So she started making different choices, only saying yes to things that brought her joy and politely declining the rest. Now she spends her time on activities she truly loves, like reading, gardening, and spending quiet afternoons with close friends. When you guard your time, you send a message to yourself and others: my life matters, my happiness matters. My time is precious, and I will spend it in ways that bring me peace. You have earned the right to enjoy your days however you choose. Don't waste them on things that don't bring you joy. One of the hardest lessons in life is realizing that people will often take as much as you are willing to give. If you never set boundaries, some people will assume you are always available, always willing, and always ready to put their needs before your own. But as you age, it's important to remember that setting boundaries isn't about being selfish. It's about ensuring that you are treated with respect and care. Boundaries can be as simple as saying, "I'm not available today," or "I can't help with that right now." They can also mean limiting your interactions with people who drain your energy, or setting clear expectations with family and friends about what you are willing or not willing to do. Take Robert, a 76-year-old grandfather who loved his family deeply. However, his children often expected him to babysit their kids at the last minute, or run errands for them without asking if he had other plans. At first, he always said yes, not wanting to disappoint anyone. But over time, he started to feel frustrated and unappreciated. One day, he decided to set some gentle but firm boundaries. He let his family know that while he loved spending time with his grandchildren, he needed advance notice and wouldn't always be available. At first, they were surprised, but over time, they learned to respect his time. And Robert? He felt more in control of his life and much happier. Setting boundaries teaches people how to treat you. Those who truly love and respect you will understand, and those who only take from you may disappear. Either way, you are left with a life that feels more peaceful and fulfilling. One of the greatest truths we learn as we grow older is that we cannot control everything. No matter how much we plan, worry, or try to fix things, life unfolds in its own way. When we try too hard to control situations or people, we only create stress for ourselves. Letting go of control allows us to finally experience peace. Many elderly people struggle with this, especially when it comes to their loved ones. You may worry about your children making the wrong choices, your grandchildren's future, or the way the world is changing. But the reality is, no amount of worry can change the outcome of things beyond your control. Eleanor, an 84-year-old grandmother, used to stress constantly about her family. She wanted them to be happy, to make good decisions, and to avoid hardships. But one day, she realized that her worrying wasn't helping them. It was only making her anxious and exhausted. She made a decision. She would offer love and advice when asked, but she would no longer try to control things she couldn't change. Instead, she focused on enjoying her own life, spending time in nature, practicing gratitude, and cherishing each moment. And for the first time in years, she felt at peace. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop trying to force life to be a certain way. When you release control, you open the door to true peace and happiness. There comes a time in life when peace matters more than pleasing others. Reaching your 70s and beyond is a gift, a time to slow down, reflect, and truly enjoy the life you've built. But too often, People in their later years find themselves still carrying the weight of everyone else's problems. They still say yes when they want to say no. They still worry about things they can't change. They still give their time, energy, and emotions to people who don't always appreciate them. But what if, instead of feeling drained, you chose peace? Choosing peace means putting your well-being first. It means understanding that you are no longer responsible for fixing everything or making everyone happy. It means setting boundaries, saying no without guilt, and focusing on what truly brings you joy. This doesn't mean you stop caring. It simply means you care wisely. You give your love, your time, and your kindness only to the people and situations that truly deserve them. There is great beauty in living with this kind of clarity. When you stop worrying about what others think, when you stop trying to control things that are out of your hands, and when you finally allow yourself to rest, you will feel lighter. Your days will become calmer. Your heart will feel at ease. Instead of spending your time fixing problems, you can spend it doing what makes you happy. Whether that's reading a book, enjoying nature, talking with a true friend, or simply sitting in silence with a peaceful mind. At this stage of life, you don't have to prove anything to anyone. You've lived, you've learned, and you've given so much. Now it's time to give yourself the same love and care you've always given to others. Peace isn't something that just happens, it's a choice. And the moment you choose it, you'll wonder why you didn't do it sooner.